Bruges is the capital and the largest city of West Flanders in the Flemish region of Belgium. It is recognized as being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, especially the historic centre of Bruges, together with other important landmarks. There are 4 remaining city gates in Bruges. It is thought that Charles V, Napoleon and the German army entered Bruges through one of these gates. They usually built as 2 tall towers connected by an overhead passage, which was used to fire bullets at the enemy. You can enjoy a nice walk along the canal surrounding the city. You can admire 4 of the remaining windmills in Bruges. They all have unique features and is definitely a good spot for nice pictures. If you have a dog, it's also a fantastic place for a nice walk. There are many museums that you can visit during your stay in Bruges. One of them that I highly recommend is the Folklore Museum. It is a small museum, however it's so well maintained and with so much information available about the daily life in Bruges during 19th and 20th centuries. The entry fee is really small, however the museum is not dog friendly, so you might need to take it in turns like we did to visit it. There are also a few activities for children to do during your visit at the museum. An interesting area of the museum is the shoemaker workshop. Here you can see how shoes were made, and there's also a collection comparing new models with the old ones around 19th and 20th century, and of course the difference is huge. The Folklore Museum recreated the grocery store from the 19th, 20th century, where you can see what products were sold and how they were organized. There is also an activity for children to do by trying to use the scale and weights to put in paper bags a certain quantity of beans. An entire section of the museum is dedicated to childhood memories. Here you can admire various toys, from card games, dice games, even an old bowling set, a rocking horse, all sorts of toys that children used to play with during that period of time. The museum also holds an extensive pipe and tobacco collection. One interesting item that I've noticed was a smoker's chair. It was very popular in the 19th century and used for people to sit back to front and rest their elbows. Pipes were really popular back then. At the beginning they were made out of clay, however later on they had china heads attached. These were the absolute opposite of clay pipes and were only intended for the wealthy smoker. The inner court of the museum holds a nice collection of old photographs. From here you can walk towards the second part of the building with more interesting collections to be admired. In the 1900s there were over 1,000 drinking places in Bruges. 1 in 8 houses was a cafe back then. The museum recreated an inn called the Black Cat Inn, which is also the name of a very well known circle of cultural interest in Bruges. A popular form of entertainment in Bruges were puppet shows. The museum also holds a collection of puppets from a very well-known show. The Flemish region of Belgium had a reputation for beautifully decorated and carved wooden puppets. People in the working class used to live in modest accommodation. Kitchen and living room were usually in the same space. Belgium is well known for its chocolate, so it came at no surprise to see a confectionery also replicated in the museum. There were various videos showing you how different types of sweets were made, how chocolate was made, different chocolate molds used, and it was very nice to see that this tradition was there for years and years. The central position in any house was the stove, which was not only used to heat up the room but also to cook food. People used to spend most of their times in the living room. They used to share their bedrooms, and children did not have their own rooms. And the best room in the house, if existed, would usually be used for visitors. Electricity consumption at the beginning was limited to one light bulb. However, with the new appliances appearing, such as vacuum cleaners, then they've started to increase the consumption of electricity. The first Flemish television evening was broadcast on the 31st of October 1953. TVs were really expensive at the time, and not everyone could afford having one in the house. During your visit, you might come across the museum's cat. Aristide V is the black cat living at the museum, and it's been said that since 1984 there was always a black cat wandering around the museum. Shop signs were a key part of making your business known in the city. So before you leave the museum, don't forget to check the collection hanging on the walls. Bruges is one of the best preserved medieval towns in Europe. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2000. Its historic centre of Bruges is famous, together with the brick buildings around the city. It is also known as the Venice of the North. Bruges is full of history, and wandering around its streets, you cannot help yourself but thinking how it was back then. In 1089 it became the capital of the county of Flanders. One of the points of attraction in town is the Burg Square. This is where you will find the City Hall, which is a late Gothic monumental style building. It was built between 1376 and 1421 and is situated in the Burg Square, which is the area of the former fortified castle. In the same square you will see the Basilica of the Holy Blood. This is a Roman Catholic basilica, and it houses a relic of the Holy Blood. It is said that there is a piece of cloth with blood of Jesus on it. However, there is no definitive evidence for or against the authenticity of this relic. The City Hall is an impressive building, and being decorated for Christmas, together with the other surrounding buildings and the nicely decorated Christmas trees, is one of the most photographed places in Bruges during the winter time. The best way to explore Bruges is by foot, so you can really grasp what's happening around you. However, the public transportation is also very well organized, and during the evenings you can even enjoy a nice horse carriage ride around the town. Let's not forget about the immersive collection of local beers that you can find. There are so many unique and quirky places where you can taste beers and other drinks that are very common in Belgium. There are many sweet shops around the town. Chocolate is everywhere, and you will be delighted to see the variety of chocolate, hot chocolate, candies, any sweets that you can think of. The central square of Bruges is called the Markt, the market. This is where the Christmas market was also held. You can see there the Provincial court, which is an impressive neo-Gothic building. This was the former meeting place for the provincial government of the West Flanders. An impressive building in the market square is the Belfry of Bruges. It's a 13th century tower and is the house of a pitched percussion instrument played with a keyboard and 47 bells. It requires a qualified person to play it, and the city employs one full-time to provide free concerts regularly. We were lucky enough to hear them playing this instrument during the Christmas market evenings, and it was lovely to hear carols sung using bells. The tower was added to the market in 2040 and then it had to be rebuilt in 2080 after a fire. During the festive season, Bruges put together a lovely light experience trail. The Winter Glow is a Christmas light show around the town. You can get a map and follow the map and stop at every point of attraction, or you can just stumble across them exactly as we've done at the end of each day of exploring the town. Overall, I will recommend to visit Bruges at least 4-5 days rather than a short 1 or 2 days visit, so you can really enjoy it. It is a dog-friendly place, it has a good public transport system, and the biking culture there is amazing. I can't say more about the food, which is fantastic, chocolate everywhere, and it seems a very safe place to be. Stay close and we'll show you more of our adventures in Bruges.